outlining his vision for the economy.
Queensland, like the nation, has the potential for a great future.
Anthony Albanese travelled to the Sunshine State for his second vision statement, a state where Labor needs to gain ground before the next election.
Labor has learned the lessons from our recent mistakes.
His approach causing the Home Affairs Minister to make this concession.
I think Anthony Albanese is a bigger threat than Bill Shorten, and a bigger threat, frankly, than even Kevin Rudd or Julia Gillard.
Mr Albanese's first vision statement was a pitch on jobs. This time, the Labor leader pitched his productivity renewal project.
To lift investment in infrastructure, to lift business investment, and to invest in the skills of our people.
Moving away from the so-called tax and spend agenda of Bill Shorten, Mr Albanese has embraced the need to cut red tape, declaring he'd demonstrate a fiscally responsible approach.
I want our economic framework to have a soft heart and a hard head.
Know this about Anthony Albanese, he is a tax and spend guy. He'll tell you whatever you want to hear in opposition, but if he ever becomes Prime Minister of this country, he'll destroy the budget.
As for the consistent coalition criticism that Labor lacks any appreciation for aspiration, Mr Albanese finished on this.
Now is no time to lower our aspirations. It's time to raise them.
The former head of ASIO, meanwhile, raised issues of his own, delivering a stark warning when it comes to Chinese interference. Duncan Lewis argues Beijing is attempting to take over Australia's political system. He labelled the threat as insidious and called on Chinese Australians to work with security agencies to identify the threat. The Prime Minister says the government is on top of the issue.
Our position, our laws, our resources, our agencies have never been better tasked, and I've got to say Duncan played a huge role in getting us in that position.
Peter Dutton also defending the intelligence agencies after this attack from one former Prime Minister.
The subtleties of foreign policy and the elasticity of diplomacy are being supplanted by the phobias of a group of security agencies which are now effectively running the foreign policy of the country.
I think, frankly, Mr Albanese should condemn those comments, and I think they reflect more on Mr Keating than they do on any of our agency heads.
But there's no appetite within Labor to do so, saying Mr Keating can speak for himself. Trudy McIntosh, Sky News, Canberra.